I do think it's Zoom's fault, actually. So we'll just have to
Fight
agree to
to the death.
disagree. Yeah, exactly. So hey, almost Christmas Eve. Christmas will be over by the time people listen to this. I
Yeah.
hope that your jolly times occurred.
Yeah.
As
Hope
it were.
everybody had a good time.
Yep. Once again, we're saying Christmas. Christmas is a thing. It does exist. Neither of us are denying that. And you can say happy holidays, but Hanukkah is already over. So it's Christmas time for the people that celebrate. This is another thing. I don't know about you, but the whole you can't say Merry Christmas. What can't I say Merry Christmas now? Whatever.
Yeah.
Not really around for this year, mostly on my Zoom calls and things of that nature. People are just saying Merry Christmas, and they aren't pausing and saying, "Can I say that?" or anything. They're just saying Merry Christmas to people.
Well, the war on Christmas has always been sort of a manufactured
Exactly.
outrage piece.
Yeah.
There was somebody on Facebook, a friend who I can't remember who it was, posted some sort of meme that said, you say Merry Christmas. If people correct you or say don't say it, then don't say it. People aren't offended when you say Merry Christmas to them. It's just, if they don't celebrate Christmas, they'll, they may tell you, and you should be a good person and respect their wishes. And then another Facebook fan was like, look, I am offended when people say Merry Christmas, and went on to list all the ways Christmas has wronged them. And like things they were, because they're Jewish and, grew up in a very Christian neighborhood, I guess.
Yeah.
And so like forced to do things like in school, like forced to sing Christmas songs in the school pageant, that kind of thing. I get that. So,
well, yeah, and here's the thing: if it's a, I guess this is the thing: is that as you know, Ben, I have been wronged by several Christian institutions in my life. Don't feel great about them sometimes.
Yeah.
But when someone says Merry Christmas to me, I do this. I say, you too. And what I'm really doing is I'm talking about the band, Bono, The Edge, Adam Clayton, the other guy. Oh, sorry, the other guy. But yeah, and I believe, was U2 part of Band-Aid? I think they might have been.
Did they create Band-Aid? YouTube fronted some event.
I don't know. I thought Bob Geldof started Band-Aid for some reason. Anyway,
I don't keep track of these things.
Band-Aid famously, do they know it's Christmas time at all? Which was a problem. And so the big thing is though that I don't worry too much about it myself, but I can understand why you wouldn't. Now, famously, we are having Christmas tension this Christmas. I think I might have mentioned it before. If I didn't, wow, amazing that I didn't.
You've talked about it.
Normally I would. Yeah. So so the family is not meeting. And one of the things that I found out, interestingly enough, for those of you who have already been following this, there is a person. I'm not going to get all the way into it this time, Ben, because we're keeping it light. There's someone that other people aren't too enamored with this Christmas. And so there are going to be separate celebrations. One where the persona non grata will be having Christmas with my parents, and the rest of us are having Christmas with my nephew. It's a whole big deal. But here's the thing that I found out about. The persona non grata, Ben, not vaccinated. Have I mentioned that already?
Oh, really? If you have, I had forgotten that little detail.
Now, here's the interesting thing. I found that out afterwards, and the Midwest nice person in me was like, well, why couldn't I have found that out ahead? Then I could have said that's the reason we're not visiting. Which is
That's
rude.
the reason why my family's not getting together this Christmas.
Oh yeah, that's right. You mentioned so yeah, it is kind of crazy. It is kind of crazy. And also, my parents are elderly.
Are
Now they've
they?
gotten
I'm
their shots and
assuming. Yeah, I'm assuming your parents are vaccinated.
yeah, and boosted and all that, but still it's
Yeah.
a little not great.
I would be concerned.
Yeah. Oh, so hey, guess what? It's time to play Ben Gonna Guess the News. Now, Ben, you might already know this. You might already know this. During an interview, former President Donald J. Trump caused a little bit of a stir amongst his supporters when he admitted what?
I believe you are referring to our former president admitting that he got his booster shot and was booed by the audience.
Oh no, this is yes, but this is a little later.
Oh, in fact,
this is in an interview with Candace Owen.
With Candace Owen. Is it where he said vaccines were mankind's greatest achievement?
The clip that I saw, he both bragged about how the vaccines, and this is true. I am not begrudging him this. During his presidency, these vaccines came to market faster than people had anticipated. Absolutely true. But he also said that they worked. That they worked because she said more people are getting COVID now under Joe Biden, and they're getting more vaccines. So there's a speculation that vaccines, and he cut her off and said they work, vaccines work, which prompted a medical person that I follow on. Well, I don't follow them, but you know those people. No, you don't because you're not on Twitter. But I mean on TikTok. But you know how there are people, Ben, you live in a large city. There are people in a large city that you don't know, but you see them all the time. And they're not like your dentist or your barista. They're a person who just happens to always be in the same building that you're in. You're not sure exactly who they are, why they're there, but they're your oh, you're here again, nodding buddies that you have.
It's when the simulation's generation of NPCs just lags a bit and reuses character.
Ben, don't come on my corner, all right? That's my bit. Don't. No, but seriously, yeah. It's like that. You're like, what is this person also doing here? And you recognize them. You see them enough. You don't know their name. You don't know really what they're doing or whatever. Public transportation is a good example of this. A fellow person, they're on your route. You see them all the time. You nod. This is kind of the same thing on TikTok. There are these people that you're not following, but you see their stuff all the time. And there's this one medical professional who stitched that. That's how I saw it today. And there you go. That was Ben Gonna Guess the News, and Ben got it, I think.
I did. I did get it. I did see. I didn't see that. I just saw like a headline on Reddit that said, "Trump says blah 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 blah. Vaccines are mankind's greatest achievement." I don't know if he's talking about vaccines in general or the ones for COVID-19. I also saw that
you kind of think it's probably the ones that he was somewhat involved in. I mean, I
also saw that White House press secretary Jen Psaki thanked Trump, probably in like a sarcastic way, I'm sure. But again, I just saw the headline that said Jen Psaki does this.
I caught that, and it wasn't actually. It was good. It was a very good, savvy PR thing where she did a sort of a good on him. He did the right thing. I think that was what she said, something to that effect. Kind of cool. Don't know what's happening. I'm not really big friends with anyone in that camp anymore. Don't know how that's affecting what they think of him.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. because they'll just move the goalposts because that's what they always do. If Trump comes out and says, "Look, take your vaccines, let's get this thing under control," his supporters are gonna try to find. His supporters are gonna like the phrase "move the goalposts." I hear that a lot because it's what Republicans and conservatives do all the time when confronted with things that make sense to the rest of us. But
hey, look, if they move the goalposts and get vaccinated, and here's the thing: if they say, "Oh, I was always going to get vaccinated," and then they get vaccinated, I'm fine with that. I'm fine.
No. Where the goalposts have been moved right now, it's not because the vaccine hesitancy for conservatives who are following right-wing media who tell them to be wary of the vaccines. They're just going to say, well, I don't want the government telling me to do it. I want to do this on my own. I don't want the government mandating that I need a vaccine so that I can go to a restaurant.
Yeah. Well, and in fact, I mean, I'll tell you this for free. You probably already know this. There are many government adjacent companies and things like that are mandating their employees get vaccinated because they want to remain in the government's good graces.
Yeah.
And, it's one of those situations where, unfortunately, there's no, well, I say unfortunately, but whatever. There's no voluntary, you can opt out and say, well, I have a religious or medical reason why I can't get the vaccine. But there's no way to really know what's what as far as that goes. And that's going to be really tricky, because if people start saying, well, I need proof of what your religion is, that's a problem, And again, with the ADA, it's like, I need proof of your disability. Well,
Yeah. When the 2021 school year started back in September at the UW, they said that incoming students and returning students needed to take the vaccine unless you have a medical exemption, a religious exemption, or some other reason you don't want to take it.
And you went to UW, right?
Well, then there's no vaccine mandate for students if they can just say, I don't want to take this.
You went to UW.
I did.
Right? That was your...
Yeah.
When you did, you had to have some vaccines already, right? That was the thing when I went to college. You had to... You might not even remember it, but...
Honestly, I don't remember, but I did have to prove that I had my MMR vaccine for a job where I went into schools.
Yeah.
So I had to have fortunately, my dad still had that somewhere. I called him up and I'm like, do you have proof that I had my measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine when I was a kid?
Yeah.
And yep.
So that's one of those things where, and like I said, when I was in the Air Force, we got all kinds of stuff shot into us. And what's this for? They might have even told us, but you're in basic training, so you're not getting all the sleep that you would normally want to get.
Yeah.
Everything is kind of a haze. And so yeah, I'm not too worried about it. But I am worried enough about it that it's a little, if this weren't already happening, I would have put my foot down and been like, we're not going out there. And,
Well, and, the severity of Omicron seems to change day to day, but right now it's very infectious. It spreads very rapidly.
That's what I hear.
Some of the, some vaccines are more effective against it than others.
Which ones are more effective? Do you know?
It changes all the time. Like a couple weeks ago.
Medical advice from GudeLaurance. Here we are.
A couple weeks ago, I heard that the Pfizer vaccine was more effective against it, and then a couple days ago, I heard that the Moderna vaccine was more effective. And then they say you can mix and match, and that's most effective.
Huh. The mixing and matching. This is interesting. You mentioned it because I know that they were doing that in Canada, and some people from Canada were complaining that in the U.S. they didn't like it, like when they were trying to travel and stuff like that. So interesting. It all depends, I'm sure. And who knows? But all I know is that I have both my Pfizer and my Pfizer booster now. So that's where I'm at.
Yep.
And still, I did a TikTok where I was like, look, even if it doesn't protect me, the one thing that's good is that I'm helping protect people who can't get the vaccine. And this guy wrote in and said, "You're not helping anyone. You're still a carrier. You people are so stupid!" Exclamation point. And I deleted his comment because I didn't want it up there to be, false. This is something that people talk to me about. Not a lot of people, but some people. The fact that I delete a lot of comments or delete my own posts or block people on TikTok.
Censorship.
Like I do it too much. But here's the thing. I would rather block someone than have an uncomfortable conversation with them. That's just the manner in which, if I could block people in real life, I'd have you, Betty, Jennifer, Andy, probably not. Here's the thing. My parents, they'd request to follow me. I wouldn't let them, those sorts of things. But yeah, I wouldn't be open to a lot of people. Man, could you imagine, Ben, not having to deal with most people in the world? That would be nice.
That's why I don't work in an office.
I would be pressed if they wanted me to go back to the office. Here's the thing, and I know that I talk about this a lot, but the difference between me working from home and me working in an office, the benefit that it has done for my career, because all the weird things that put people off about me are muted when I'm on the, they can't see my face. They can't.
Right.
I mean, I will say this. I am embarrassed about it, but, and I don't know if this has come up with you and other people talking about me, but this is true. I will stare at people, like stare at them in a way that makes them uncomfortable. I can't help it. Once I know that I'm doing it, I try to stop, but it's just a thing that happens when I'm on the other end of a phone and there's no camera and I can't see the person, they can't see me. That part, staring, gone. Not respecting other people's space as far as their office goes. I used to
you just come in and drop a deuce on the ground and then leave.
Well, drop a deuce, no, but I would come in and start talking to them about whatever problem I have, and then they say, "Paul, can this wait?" And I go, "I guess." And then I look, and there are 3 other people in the office that I didn't notice. That kind of thing. All of those things gone because I'm working remotely and I'm using telecommunication things.
Yeah.
Much better. So if they want me to come back into the office, my question to them is, do you really? Because you may not.
Well, also, that's a harder proposition for you, isn't that right? Because your office is not in your city anymore.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing, is that I would have to move. And this is one of the things Jennifer's talking about, and she's right, about how we should be in a larger place than we are right now. But the thing is that this contract that I'm on is going to end, around the same time that Betty graduates from high school. And when Betty is no longer in high school, Jennifer and I have talked about moving to another place entirely. And so I don't want to move this year, just to move again a year later or whatever. So I'm trying to hold off if we can. And the thing is, this is one of those things of, if I were to put in effort to clean and tidy up and get things out of walkways,
the house might feel bigger.
The house might feel bigger. Yes. So that's my own thing. Hey, speaking about my time and what I do with it, the D&D thing went very
Yeah,
well.
I was gonna bring
I
that up.
am
How'd you feel about
I
that?
felt really good about it. Now, of course, Ian, the guy who kind of set it up, we're having a post-mortem about it, and he said it went well. Some things could have gone better, and instantly I'm like, what do you mean? What could have gone better? What? And that's what the
Yep.
post-mortem's for. But I mean, honestly, here's the thing: if anyone who was a player has stuff that they want to have changed, and we do things in a different way and all that, I'm all for it. Love to hear it, because honestly, the thing I see my job as a dungeon master, game master, is, you know, to give them an adequate place to play.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. So, I'm going to be open, I'm going to be collaborative, I'm going to be all of that. The thing that I don't want to do, and I don't think it'll happen, but there is also a situation, you've dealt with this before, especially when you're dealing with improv type things. The more people try to tweak them, the more people get in their heads about it, and it stops becoming effortless. It becomes like a I don't know how to say it. What'd you say?
Effortful.
Becomes effortful. Yes, exactly. And you're like, you're thinking about all the stuff you're not supposed to do instead of thinking about your task in the thing. I'm hoping that's not the way it goes. Obviously, we'll see
Yeah,
how it
I
is.
think everybody had a lot of fun. I don't know what Ian is referring to as things that could have gone better. We had some sound issues, but that's just because the microphones we had were made for that kind of thing.
Well,
Um,
the one thing that I said, because Steven asked me also, like, what could there have been something else, and I mentioned that apparently we had to reboot the computers
yeah,
every so often. If that could be
yeah, and that was the other
less.
thing I was going to bring up was that we had some technical issues that didn't get in the way of the stream. Uh, because it's not like we were in the middle of something and had to stop because the stream broke and then had to send out a brand new YouTube link to everybody. We did have to take a break. I think we were only going to take one, but we ended up taking two. Just to restart the software. Had to restart the computer the first time, and then just the software
Just the
program
software.
the second
So
time.
the one other thing I just thought of now as we were talking, and I don't like this suggestion, because the problem with it is that then it would mean that there's one person who wouldn't be able to take a break. But if the smut could happen during the break, then there wouldn't be dead air between stuff.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, is because that's when you lose people, in my opinion, during those breaks. Some people go away and they never come back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I think you could have a dedicated smut reader who's not a player. That way, the
Ooh,
players can take a
yeah,
break.
yeah, that might be worth it. I don't know. I'm just that would be the only thing, because it's not like if we're streaming, right? It's because that's the other thing, is that maybe at some time there would be a thing where there'd be an audience, which would be crazy, but it could happen. Um, what I was going to say is there's not an audience, so you need an intermission for the players,
Yeah.
but the people that are watching the stream don't need to like get up and stretch their legs or whatever, because they have
And the
their
players, I
device.
mean, I think everybody at one point got up
Yeah.
during the game.
Yep.
Just
And
because
that's
4 hours is a long time to sit in those
oh
folding
no,
chairs.
we had, I mean, when I say no, I mean, we had planned breaks for them. That was a thing that Ian talked about. Maybe we didn't advertise it to the people or to the group, but that was a known thing that we were going to do, from what I understood.
Which was take breaks,
Take that there would be breaks for people.
like
Yeah.
individual people.
Oh no, for the
No,
whole.
yeah, of course. But
I see
what
what you're
I'm
saying.
saying,
This is me. I'm misunderstanding you. I'm with you now, though.
what I'm saying is that people were told that they could just get up if they needed to, and everybody
Yeah.
did that at one point or another.
Sorry for my confusion. Yes, absolutely. There's no way. We can't cut that out. This is me getting a thing wrong when talking to Ben about a thing. Sorry, Ben.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
How did you like the interruptions in terms of like having to modify the game based on donations?
I very much played up annoyance at the interruptions. There is one thing that I will say, and this is a bonus for the people listening to the GudeLaurance podcast. I personally, as someone who listens to actual play podcasts, I don't like listening to combat. So whenever there was combat and we were doing combat, I was thinking that everyone was like, man, I'm like, oh man, they're not gonna necessarily like this thing. So when we were fighting things and things came in, I was like, oh, this is gonna extend this combat thing even more. Which I don't know though. If people, here's the thing, and then this is what I'll say. This is maybe one reason why the postmortem will be good. If people like the combat, right, then that's good, because the one thing it does is it stretches the story out for sure.
Yeah.
And there were some things that happened during combat that were funny.
Also, I don't think for this thing you need to stretch the story out anymore.
Yeah. Well,
there was
plenty. Yeah, that's the thing, is that there's tons of story. I completely misjudged how quickly people would burn through the stuff that I have. There's lots of stuff. I will say that this is not lost. We're not flying by the seat of our pants. There's a mystery that has been baked into the town, and they're on the cusp of it, is what I'll say, for sure.
Right
so yeah, the problem that the thing that I did that was wrong, that I will not do anymore, because the Hellhounds, they appeared right where they were at, right? And when the kobolds showed up, I was like, okay, the kobolds are going to be inside this area. And so when they go here, hey, that's where the kobolds were. The red dragon's going to be in this area. So when they get there, that's where the red dragon is. Next time, I'll probably just have them show up when they show up. But yeah, I thought it was good. I had a lot of fun. Also, the players are so great.
Yeah.
All the different things that they think of and stuff. And you saw one of my tendencies, which is, if somebody has an idea and they want to do something, saying no to that is stupid and dumb, and I hate it.
Right.
So all of Sarah Nine's stuff about what I'm doing now is I'm thinking, okay, how do I keep those hellhounds around? Because as far as I'm concerned, they're backs as hellhounds now. We just have to figure out exactly how to keep them from killing the rest of the party and stuff like that. I mean,
yeah, unsurprisingly, I wasn't really paying attention to the story or what was going on.
Yeah,
I was back here just trying to keep everything live.
Yeah, there's not a lot of stuff to really know. Basically, all the food had been stolen from them. Here's a recap. All the food had been stolen. There was a bandit who was trying to get food from them, but then when they went to get the food, all the food had been stolen. Bandit ran out. There were kobolds underneath the tavern. Then the kobolds had stolen the food somehow. And then there's a red dragon in with the kobolds. And these deep gnomes, who are enemies of the kobolds, had smuggled in 2 war horses somehow into the kobolds cavern, and the tunnels, and had the war horses stomp on all the kobolds' eggs, effectively killing a whole bunch of their children.
Right.
And the last thing where the thing ended was the Red Dragon had charged some of the players who were down in the tunnels with killing the kobolds. Killing the deep gnomes, or stopping them from stomping on things. And that's where we were at.
Yeah. And your party was split up, right? You had some people in one place and some people in another.
Yeah, and that was a design flaw on my part. I didn't think that the trap that I had would go off before everybody was down in the tunnels. So the way that they got into the tunnels was closed off, but there are other ways in. And you know, stupid of me to, and this is again the way that my brain works. I could have just said that the hole was bigger. I didn't have to say that the hole was smaller, but there was a secret door that you would find that would have opened up into a larger thing, but the ceiling had already come down by that part, and that was where that other door went into. Anyway, again, just private stuff with you and me. Nobody else has to know about that.
But as the dungeon master, you are God and can decide.
Yes, that's right. But even God should be beholden to, you know, some rules, even if they're rules that God makes for himself. So yeah, so that was fun. I don't know. How was it seeing all those people? Was it more people than you had seen in a while, or?
Certainly more people that I'd seen in Annex in a while.
Yeah. Was it cool? Were the social instincts kicking in?
I didn't really get a chance to socialize because I was working. But afterwards, like nobody really hung around. We basically just like put the expensive stuff away and got out of here.
See, yeah. I mean, I guess that's part of it. I'm used to spin the bottle, stuff like that, where we would hang out sometimes afterwards, or else I would leave immediately for work.
I'd have to drive you home because you wanted to go.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh Ben, thank you so much. Those were nice times for me, anyway.
For you. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you doing for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day?
And
Boxing Day.
Christmas Eve, taking Blair to the airport. She's going to a family vacation.
Oh, where to?
Southern California somewhere.
Oh, that's nice.
Their family always goes away for Christmas. Because her family's Jewish and they don't celebrate Christmas. So they always get out of town.
That's not bad. That's actually kind of a great time to travel during Christmas. I don't know.
I know. See, so that's it's a big thing this year because of a lot of different factors, but mostly the Omicron variant.
Yeah.
So anyway, after that, I'm probably gonna hang out at Annex on Christmas Eve. And then
are there other folks showing up?
I don't know. I've one company member posted on Facebook a couple weeks ago, or maybe even a week ago, saying, "Hey, is there Christmas Eve movies at Annex?" Because I normally do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, whatever, sure, that's fine. I'm not doing anything else. And then some people piped in, like maybe they'll come, because I'm going to be showing Die Hard, Mad Max Fury Road, and The Thing.
Oh, nice.
Because The Thing is now a Christmas movie, because it's a bunch of people locked away in a snowy location who don't like each other, trying to figure out who has a deadly virus.
Oh man, spoilers for The Thing. Did you hear the one of the hypotheses about the end of it?
I've heard a lot. What are you talking about?
You've seen it, right? You've seen
Yeah.
Okay. So when they do a shot, right? They do a shot of some kind. Right?
Yeah, they're drinking out of a flask.
Right. So the idea is that maybe what's in the flask isn't alcohol. And so that's why he's watching. to see how the person reacts to it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting.
Hadn't heard that idea. The one that I really liked was that you could see Kurt Russell's breath because it was so cold, but you couldn't see the other guys.
Oh, that's very nice.
That was an indication that he was a thing. So anyway, so I don't know. So the person who originally asked about this has now bailed because it's because of Omicron and they don't now no longer feel comfortable. So I just wrote on Facebook, I'm gonna be here because I want to watch these movies anyway, and I'm not doing anything. Yeah. So I'll leave the door open. Come by or don't.
That's nice.
If you're vaccine boosted, but it's not an official party kind of thing. And then on Christmas Day, on Saturday, heading up to my sister's place in Mill Creek.
Mill Creek in Washington, obviously.
Yeah. It's near Everett. If you know where Everett is, you know where.
Yeah, I do know where Everett is. Yeah, I used to live in that area. Not Everett for that long, but I actually lived in what is it, Clinton?
And when did you live in Clinton?
In the island, right? When I first got to Seattle. And so I didn't live in Everett, but the person who I lived with worked in Everett. It was Troy Lund. I was living at with Troy Lund. In Clinton for a little bit
when
I first got there. Yeah. So that was kind of interesting. Yeah. So Troy and I think you know this already. We went to college in Columbia, Missouri together.
Yeah.
And while we were there, I just got some August Wilson stamps at the post office. And Troy and John Hamm alternated roles in Joe Turner's Come and Gone. Which is pretty cool.
You know, it's funny. I don't really consider Troy and John Hamm to be the same type of actor.
Oh, and they played this role completely different. Yeah. But it was pretty cool, you know, to see that happen. And I also saw John Hamm in Mad Woman with Chaillot. And I think he was in Assassins too, I want to say.
I think I told you that we're Blair and I are rewatching Mad Men.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
We've just finished season 4. And that's where I stopped watching. So the rest of the show is going to be new to me.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I'm digging it again. I mean, I saw it when it was airing originally. So yeah, but we have to get the DVDs from the library because the only way to stream it is on Prime Video through IMDb TV, and it has ads, like a lot of commercial breaks. Yeah.
What about AMC? AMC Plus doesn't have it?
None of us have a cable. Neither of us have a cable subscription.
No, AMC Plus is a channel that you can buy through Amazon now.
Oh, well, we haven't done that. And I'm not going to buy another service to watch one TV show.
AMC Plus is great though. It's got all The Walking Dead. It's got a whole bunch of, like, if you get AMC Plus, you also get Shudder. Hey, this is now an AMC Plus Stan account.
This today's podcast is brought to you by AMC Plus.
Yeah, I don't know. I would get rid of Disney Plus before I got rid of AMC Plus. Sorry, Disney Plus. It's true though.
Are you watching Hawkeye?
I have been watching Hawkeye. Hawkeye is a Christmas movie.
The first 3 episodes of what I've seen.
Yeah. Episode 4 is out. I saw episode 4.
Which is funny too, because Hawkeye was taking place the same day I was watching it, like 5 days before Christmas.
Yeah. Succession on HBO Max. I just watched the last episode of that.
Yeah. I hear that's really great.
It's really great. Yeah, I really like it. I also saw The Matrix Resurrections. And I'm back and forth on it.
Wait, is that the 4th movie?
Yeah, the fourth
Okay.
movie. It's already on HBO Max.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. You could watch it tonight.
I probably won't.
I won't say anything more about it. But yeah, it's part of that universe, and it's got some self-aware parts that I like. I did not.
It apparently has a severe lack of Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh yeah, he's not in it.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah, spoilers for him not being in it. I don't know though. The guy who plays Morpheus. Okay, more spoilers. Anyway,
you get that in
guy,
the trailer.
That guy was the guy who played John in Watchmen, Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
He's
that
good.
Guy.
I want to see his Candyman, which I think might also be on HBO Max. So I might watch that tonight. I'm thinking.
He was in something else recently. I want to say he was like in like Lovecraft Country or something.
He was in not Lovecraft Country. He was in something else though. Well, hold on. So he was, I'm not going to look it up. Staying true to the show. But so the other thing is, I don't know if I've talked up BritBox to you at all.
I know what it is, but I don't know if you've talked about it to me.
All of the Doctor Who's are on BritBox.
All the ones they know of.
Well, all the ones that weren't destroyed, obviously.
Exactly.
Yeah, but Pyramids of Mars, which was the first Doctor Who I saw, the first show other than Sesame Street that I ever saw as a kid. I think I talked to you about this before. When I was a kid, I thought that the TV channels, when you turned them on, the show that you wanted to watch was just on, right?
That's true now.
So, yeah, exactly. I was able to watch Sesame Street, and Sesame Street was on, and so my dad would time it, and then he would say, okay, you can start watching Sesame Street, and he would turn on the TV, Sesame Street would be on, and I get to watch it for an hour, and then he turned the TV off. So I thought that that's what it was. Channel 9 was Sesame Street. You turn it on, Sesame Street is on. So I was being babysat. It was at night. And I said, I want to watch Sesame Street. Can I watch it? And she said, yes. So I turned on Channel 9, which was Sesame Street.
and it was Doctor Who.
It was an episode of Sesame Street I'd never seen before. And afterwards, I was watching Sesame Street with my dad. And I was sad. And he was like, what's wrong? I'm like, I don't know. I like it in Sesame Street when the robot comes out of the bookcase and kills a guy. And he had no idea what I was talking about. And for the longest time, Ben, I thought that I was crazy. And then as a teen, I finally watched Pyramids of Mars, and I had this huge thing of deja vu. And I realized that was what I had seen when I was a kid. And so now I can watch it again, and it's kind of cool. And funnily enough, it has a version of the Knights or Knaves logic puzzle in it. And it goes like this. There are 2 guardians and 2 switches. One switch frees a prisoner. The other switch is instant death. One guardian can only tell the truth. The other guardian can only lie. You are allowed to ask one guardian one question. What question do you ask?
Right.
And then later on, Labyrinth used it for something.
Yeah, and, the door knockers.
Yeah. Right now on D&D TikTok, there's a bunch of people who are arguing about what the right answer is and how...
You mean what the right question is?
How players can use it. Oh, Ben, you're correct. Yes. What the solution to the problem is, Ben. But it got me to buy more logic. I love logic puzzles. It's one of my favorite things, Ben. If somebody says, "Oh, we want to buy Paul a gift, but what can we get him? Get me a book of logic puzzles. I'll be happy."
Logic puzzles.
Yep.
Going back to Yahya Abdul Mateen.
Yes.
Yahya Abdul Mateen. He played Cal Abar. He also, the reason where I recognize him from was he played Black Panther's founder Bobby Seale in The Trial of the Chicago 7, which is a movie on Netflix.
Yes.
About what is it about, you might ask? Well, I'll tell you. It's about the trial of the Chicago 7.
Oh, and let me also say, apologize. Spoilers retroactively for Watchmen. You're not supposed to know that Cal is John. If you haven't watched
I think
Watchmen
the statute
yet,
of limitations is passed on a TV show that aired 2 years ago.
And if you're not watching it, why not? I mean, it's great. All of it is great. The musical score, Nine Inch Nails.
Watchmen?
Yeah. Me. Haha. Oh yeah, and wow, prescient. All the masks and things like that. It's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking about COVID, Ben, I saw a very sad TikTok that somebody did. They had do you know about stitching? Do you know what stitching for TikTok is?
I think I do.
It plays a little bit of it of one TikTok, and then you can add your own thing to the back end of it.
Yeah.
So a guy stitched a thing with him from with him from December 2020, where he had talking about how weird it is that he can't smell anything.
Oh.
And then he talked about how he had just eaten now, and then it was from him from now. He had just eaten 2 Little Debbie's Nutty Bars, and they tasted like a firework smells after you set it off.
Really?
And it's been a year, and he was not doing well. He was completely...
Did you get the sense that he was not doing well for the entire year, or was he better and then he got sick again?
The impression is that he is having lingering effects from COVID that have not gone away.
Long COVID, I believe they call that.
Yes, his taste has not returned to him.
That's
basically.
Oh man, that's terrible.
Yeah, I mean that's one of those things of that's a weird disability to have, but we're gonna run into people that have that, where it's just the enjoyment you used to get out of food because of the way that it tasted is no more.
Yeah.
But we're all gonna die eventually, Ben. That's the bright side of things.
That's the every year we pass the anniversary of the date of our death.
That's
we
right.
Just don't know it.
Hey. And yeah, the phrase that I keep reminding myself of, temporarily able-bodied, TAB, was
terrible,
at least in vogue in the 90s as in disabled culture, using that as a way to refer to people who were just walking around. And it was differently abled became part of the vocabulary around that same time. And ADA came on around that same time. Lots of changes with the way that was used.
Yeah.
Handicap became disabled, differently abled. I don't know. I don't even know what the proper thing to say now is.
Handicap was even a cover for a worse word that.
Yes, and I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Saying that now. Had a little bit of a talk about language with people, boys or girls, men or women, a man or woman. When a man or woman does, that whole thing.
Yeah.
And people were talking about how, it's unnecessary and enforces a gender binary. And I had to put on my old guy hat and go, that was actually progressive for its time. For one time, the stuff would just say, when a man buys this video recorder, he will do this, this, and this. And there was, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I'm hearing a lot of that in Mad Men, actually. because it takes place in the 60s, and a lot of the times when they refer to the customer of certain products that they're selling, they specifically say, well, who's your customer? What does he do for a living?
Yeah, exactly. And that, when I went to, I think I mentioned this before, when I was trying to get into Stevens College as one of the male acting students that they had there, and I was so close. I was so close, but my grades weren't high enough. And the guy who was pushing for me got mad at me because he didn't know that my grades were so poor. So when I got put into that situation, all the brochures were, when the student gets to her dorm, she will do this. I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
And I realized that it was because I was so used to seeing he everywhere. Even at that time, even in the early 90s. So yeah. It's weird. We've been around for a while now, Ben.
4.5 decades for me.
Yeah, enough to see some changes for sure.
Yeah.
I like where we're at. I like the changes that we've had.
There have certainly been some great changes, but I think we're certainly not done.
Here's an example. This is a great example. I was overjoyed to find out that the woman who said that she mistook her gun for her taser and shot a guy was convicted. Are you not familiar with the case?
I have forgotten this case. I think I did know of it at one point, and now I'm starting to connect the dots where I saw a headline today where somebody was convicted in the murder of somebody else.
A police officer, last name Potter, I do not remember the police officer's first name, shot a suspect and claimed that she had mistaken her gun for her taser.
Yeah.
And the defense had her dressed like a grandmother, and she cried when she was on the stand, all that kind of stuff. And people were surprised and happy that she got convicted.
I do remember when this story first broke, a lot of the commentary was, how do you mistake your gun for your taser?
Right. The grips are different. The weight is different, all that kind of stuff. Do you wear them on opposite sides of your body if you're following protocol, all that kind of thing. And I was like, well, this is great. You have justice. And then I realized I'm saying that this is great, when in fact what would have been great is if the incident hadn't happened at all. We're at a better place where you can actually get convicted for killing someone when you've killed them, but we're still not to the point where people aren't getting killed.
Right.
So it's only somewhat great. Yeah, there's a lot of that that I still, constantly, it's going to be a constant struggle to work through all the stuff that you and I were just indoctrinated into because of, when we grew up and how we grew up. I got into a discussion with people about the gender divide, the gender segregation in sports. Mm-hmm. And some people are still like, well, men are just stronger than women. It's a fact. And it's like, okay, but I'm a man, right? And the WNBA, and we're playing basketball.
Yeah.
Who's winning? And they're like, well, yeah, but think about it this way. All of the other basketball players can beat the women basketball player. I'm like, all of them? Are we sure? Right? So we've got Michael Jordan back when we were, of more paying attention to I don't know. Maybe you pay attention to basketball more than me. But you got Michael Jordan, who's really, really good.
Game once.
What's that?
You and I did go to that basketball game once.
We did go to that basketball game. I remember I looked all the players in the eye, and I was like,
made them uncomfortable.
I've made eye contact with all sorts of basketball players today. And you're like, how is that? Okay, great, Paul. That's good. Good to know. Something to that effect. But the basic thing is that Michael Jordan is better than a lot of the other players.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan still gets to play basketball. In the same way, if you had a NBA, just an NBA, not a WNBA, but just an NBA, not segregated by gender, you would have female players playing in the NBA. You cannot tell me that every single male player is better than every single female player. There has got to be some difference. You know, the best player on the WNBA is going to be better than some players in the NBA.
And I would assume that everything would balance out, so where you wouldn't have like a team of all like guys,
right,
and a team of all women, and they played each other, you know.
Right, exactly. It would be a leveling based on merit, and you would have men and women on that team. The thing that I bring up all the time when I talk about this is you had boys basketball and girls basketball. I was horrible. I was on the boys basketball team. If it was a meritocracy, I would not be on the boys team ahead of any of the girls on the girls team. They would all be ahead of me. And the way that I know that is playground rules for games. What happens? You have two captains, right? There are no adults there. You have two captains. Captains choose who's going to be on their teams. I was always picked last, and we had boys and girls playing. That to me just lets me know that, you know, the whole idea that it would be all boys and all girls equally, if you're going by talent, is bull. I am the exception that proves the rule. Wait, no, that's not how exception that proves the rule works. I am the poster child for not all men are better at sports than girls.
Sports, I think, more than anything, take the longest to institute structural change.
Right.
Women have started to be football referees. Like for the last couple of years, every once in a while, you know, there's a woman that's on a one of the referees. And, you know, it's fun to see, you know, because like this one I'm thinking of has this long blonde ponytail, so you know it's her when she runs to the ball and marks, you know, what down it is. But it was only like this last season or last year's season. I think it was last year's season. I think it was 2020 football season where one game fielded an all person of color ref squad.
Interesting.
2019 was the first time, or 2020 was the first time that had ever happened. And so if you start, you know, desegregating gender in professional sports, that is a long uphill battle, I think, both by the players, the owners, and the fans.
Yeah, the fans even more so probably than some, you know, some players anyway. But and then the other thing is this, the big brouhaha about trans players. If you don't segregate sports by gender, it's no longer an issue.
Right.
You just have players, which is, I think, how it should be. But then
that also has been blown out of proportion by right-wing media in terms of like scaring people about transgender people. I think I saw something like more Republican lawmakers have been accused of sexual assault in bathrooms than transgendered people.
I believe it. But here's the thing, and this is what it all comes down to, in my opinion. The reason why there's a gender binary in sports, why there's segregation by gender, the reason why trans people get so much pushback, all of that is because, and I say so much pushback, you know, actual physical harm, threats to their life, things like that, is because a lot of our institutions are built on a power dynamic, are built on the idea that, you know, the patriarchy, that men should be in charge of things. and then they're just reinforced through the institutes like football and segregated bathrooms, all that kind of thing, to the point where, yeah, it is revolutionary to destroy the gender binary, Ben. And some people who are reactionary will fight to keep that from happening. And with that, we end another podcast. You'll note that my kid's taking the day off. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, not, it's not happening. And I said, and this is the thing, we had a conversation. It was like, can I not do it? And I'm like, of course. So who knows if it will ever happen again? We will find out next time on the GudeLaurance podcast.
All right, Paul. Well, in the meantime, I hope that you keep it wrong.
Hey, Ben, I hope you also keep it wrong. And also, Ben,
yeah,
happy holidays.
Happy holidays, Paul. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. And if you celebrate it, Merry Christmas.
You too. And we will talk again before the new year. Is that right? That is right.
Well, yeah, next Thursday, if you're still on for that.
I will. Yeah, we'll